Hi, Zach Reiser here, and welcome back to another bass effects review video. Today I am getting into the brand new Praline from Glou-Glou. So the Pralines is a pretty complex pedal, and at its heart it is 4 resonant bandpass filters running in parallel, all of which that have their own frequency and modulation amount knobs. The general overall resonance of all the filters and the filter volume are controlled by these filter and peak controls, and then you can blend in your dry signal with the mix knob. You can control these filters with LFO, expression, envelope up, envelope down, and combinations of all of these. And then just to make this thing oh so much synthier and juicier, they added in a lovely gated fuzz circuit as well. So let's get into this thing. Here's my bassist dry tone as usual, Dingwall ABZ 6-string on the neck pickup. So let's start with the LFO side of the Praline. So I have the modulation selected to be LFO, and I'm controlling it with actually however I want to. I can control it with speed, envelope, or expression. But right now I'm starting with a nice, slow sweeping LFO for some of those synthy sweeps. Now the Praline has a very wide speed range on the LFO. So right now I'm in the slow setting and I have the speed maxed in the slow setting, and this is as quickly as it goes. A very nice watery sounding phaser. So one very unique thing about the Praline compared to many other filter or modulation pedals is that you don't have a standard depth control. You have a depth or modulation amount for all 4 filters. So right now I have this filter set at a very low frequency, and it's causing it to be very throbby at this high speed. So without it, nothing changed. It sounds like this again. Pretty wonky. But if I turn the modulation amount down on just the low filter, it's still wobbling the higher frequencies, but now my lows are not moving around so much and it's a little more controlled. Another quick example of just showing the difference in modulation amounts for just a couple filters. I've turned off the modulation on all of the low filters here, and I've kept the modulation only on the high filters, and I slowed the speed back down a little bit, and now you get this real kind of high-end, tinny, almost flanger-like sound. Turning the modulation back up on all 4 filters now, I have clicked this switch into the fast setting, and things get pretty wonky here. You go from a pretty fast LFO all the way up into almost like frequency modulation territory. So the slowest speed available in the fast setting is this. And now let's hear how far we can take this. Now, if standard LFOs are a little bit too static for you, you can yet again control the LFO speed with envelopes and expression. So right now I'm controlling the LFO speed with the envelope down. So as I hit my note, it's dropping into more of a standard LFO and then coming back up into almost that frequency modulation territory. Opposite kind of envelope here, I'm using envelope up, so when I hit my note, it's going very fast, and then as it decays, it's dropping back to those slower tempos. Switching from LFO control to envelope control now of the filters. So now I'm using an envelope up to sweep up and down quickly depending on the attack decay settings shown right there. I switched over into envelope down mode, and I've turned all of my frequencies to a little bit of a higher range since now I'm sweeping down. So let's hear what that kind of classic laser gun sound sounds like with the Praline. Switching back to the envelope up side of things, one other very cool feature with the Praline is that when you are in envelope up or down, you can switch your LFO to the fast setting and you get some dual modulation, envelope plus LFO. So let's hear a little bit of that. And finally, one other way to control the filter is with the expression. So now I can essentially manually control those filter sweeps. And I've cranked the mix fully wet here, so I'm going to lose a little bit of low end on the top, but it's a really powerfully deep filter sound, so I wanted to show it. All right, it's time to talk about this fuzz knob. So this is where this thing really gets fat, synthy, juicy. So when you click this switch, the fuzz becomes active. The fuzz goes from being softer and more of like a standard fuzz when you're on the clockwise settings here, and it gets to be super gated and crunchy and synthy on the top settings here. It is interconnected to the filter volume, so you can kind of tailor the volume based off of the filter knob and the mix knob. But let me just show the difference in terms of what this does to the filter sound. So without the fuzz active, here is this just classic LFO filter sound. Nice, subtle, swooshy filter sweep. But let's turn the filter volume down a little bit because the fuzz is loud, and now let's hear what this thing sounds like with the fuzz. Keeping that fuzz active here, I've switched over to an envelope up, and I'm going to get some of that more vocal sounding kind of synthy filter sweep here. Let's keep the synthiness going. I've added a pure wet analog octaver for my OC-2, and it sounds like this by itself. And now I'm putting that into a fuzzed out downward envelope on the Praline. Keeping my Boss OC-2 on, I've switched over to expression control mode, and I've also spread my frequency range out as far as I can get it for a really, really broad, slow filter sweep here with that octaver sound. Last sound for you here. This is just a really, really slow, huge sounding filter with that fuzz, and I'm running it into a very large reverb on my Eventide H9. So that's my demo of the Pralines from Glou-Glou, a very interesting, unique, dense filter if you want to get into some of those deep synth textures. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe below. I'll be back very shortly with more pedals and effects demos, as well as some performance videos. Thank you so much for watching.